Good evening, everyone.
What's going on, YouTube?
Who else?
Facebook, Twitter,
Wherever
Instagram,
you're watching from.
wherever the hell you're watching from. What's up, everybody? I'm Anthony Greeno with Marv.
We are starting a little early so that Anthony can join us. Big bombshells today.
Huge news in the Delphi murders case, everybody. Marv,
Step
Richard
one,
Allen.
in my opinion.
This is crazy. This is like a movie. This is a movie. It's a movie. It's just a movie that's never ending.
Well, with everything going on, this is the first step. In my eyes, step one has been done.
For the defense team, their complaints?
Step one in my eyes is done to try to get some semblance in this case. It's been a debacle. Let's just put it that way.
It has been. It's been weird. And, you know, the most interesting thing is even after all of this stuff, and they said that they could move Richard Allen to a different facility, the Department of Corrections, they pretty much proved that he was being taken care of at Westville. So why the sudden move? Why today on December 6th of all days?
Yes.
Okay. And if people don't know what we're talking about in the chat, you're going to find out here in a second. Who's he in prison with, Marv? Who'd they move him to?
Well, let's just say it. Richard Allen was moved to Wabash Valley Correctional Facility today. That's the big bombshell. And what is the date? What is the date today?
December 6th, 7th.
December 7th.
But it was written on the 6th. Yes. So what happened on these days? 2 years ago.
What happened?
2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, on this date,
at Indiana State 10 o'clock at night.
The Indiana State Police put out a press release on YouTube saying we need information on Anthony Schatz. And that led us to the conclusion of Kegan Kline the very next day. This is huge. Now he's in prison with Kegan Kline.
He definitely is.
And James Brian Chadwell II, the other Delphi.
Why? How did they, in their right mind, think of putting all three of them in the same jail?
That's crazy. It's crazy. I cannot believe.
Do they have Richard Allen in one corner and Kegan Kline in another and Chadwell in another so that they don't have any interaction with each other?
You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. And someone left a comment on someone's channel. If they were co-defendants, this would not have happened.
Right.
Kegan Kline is not involved in the Delphi murders. It may seem coincidental, but I don't think that he's involved in it. They wouldn't put them there because then they could corroborate their story.
Yes.
Through the inmates. You know what I mean? Just because they wouldn't be able to talk straight to each other, you can talk to an inmate and get that inmate to pass a note or say something to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So what is the first note Kegan Kline or James Chadwell is going to pass to Richard Allen?
I don't know. I hope Kegan Kline would probably be like, dude, admit to that. They're trying to get me for it.
Yeah, probably.
I think that Kegan Kline would probably be interested in talking to him. You know what I mean?
Oh, I definitely think so.
And if they don't know each other, I really do think he'd be interested in talking to him because what he now wants, what Kegan wants, is a deal. He wants a way out. And if he can fish information out of Richard Allen and get it and turn it in, hey, so be it. If he can help a conviction, then help it. But I don't think he's going to get out of prison for it.
Wow. When I saw that come over, I was working, and when I saw that come over, I was like, what in the Sam hell is going on? You don't move them all this time, and now all of a sudden, bam, moved.
Yeah. And it doesn't make any sense on the location of the move. I mean, now originally they wanted him moved. The other defense attorneys wanted him moved to Miami Correctional, which is closer. It's over by Kokomo. It's in Peru. It's closer to the attorneys. Now that those attorneys are gone and the new attorneys are in Fort Wayne, Terre Haute's far. Carlisle, Indiana, that's far. That's far from
That's
them.
what I was going to ask you. What are we looking at for distance here?
We're looking at a good distance. So we're looking from Fort Wayne, Indiana to Terre Haute. So you have to go through from Fort Wayne, okay, which is in the top right-hand corner of the state, Allen
Right.
County, all the way down through Lafayette, past Lafayette, to Terre Haute, which is on the Illinois border.
Oh.
So, and it's like halfway down in the middle of the state. So it's far.
Wow.
I mean, it's a distance. They're looking at 2.5 hours to get there, at least maybe 3, because it takes 2 hours to get from Lafayette to Fort Wayne.
Okay. So how far is this from Delphi, where they want to have the trial?
So Terre Haute's not far. Well, I mean, it's far. I guess it'd probably be about an hour or so, hour and a half. Probably about an hour and a half.
Okay.
At least, yeah, probably about an hour and a half, I would say. Yeah.
But if they end up moving it, and it's in the southern or in the northern by Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, it's going to be further.
Yeah, it needs to stay. I think. Well, the trial is going to stay in whatchamacallit, in Delphi.
They're going to try to keep it in Delphi.
Yeah, I hope they do. You know, it doesn't matter where they put that dude or where the trial happens. You can't not know about it. I mean, the people in other countries know about it.
Well, and that's what my next question was going to be to you is, what is the chance of us really getting an impartial jury?
Well, I don't think that's very possible when you have a high-profile case, because one way or another, even if that person isn't telling, I mean, think about it. They screen the jurors and ask them questions. Have you seen anything on the media or anything in the news or on social media that would influence your decision on this case? And some people would just say no. You know what I mean? No.
Yeah.
But they could go in there with the full intent of, this dude's not guilty. You know what I mean? Or he's guilty. It could be someone from the internet that we know. You know what I mean? Gets summoned, that lives in that county, that goes and becomes a juror. So I don't know. I really hope they
so much information. Well, I do have one thing. I did hear one of the jurors that was on the Lori Vallow Daybell case. He knew of her. He had heard what happened to her children, but he didn't have details because he didn't follow the internet. So there are people out there, but the majority of them follow the internet, follow the news, and are going to hear about this.
Yeah.
I don't know if, was it Wabash Valley where they held Timothy McVeigh?
Okay, so no, Timothy McVeigh. Okay, so maybe, but so there are 2 prisons in that area. It's technically Carlisle is where it's at, is Wabash, but it's Terre Haute. That's what everybody calls it. Terre Haute has a federal holding facility too. Okay, so Indiana has a federal prison. That's where Timothy McVeigh was executed. Okay. Wabash Valley is a place for murderers, longtime offenders. They start at a level 4, which is almost maximum security, and then it goes to level 3, 2, and then they have another section of the place that's a level 1 for lower risk offenders. But where he's at is in the high risk.
So Kegan and Chadwell on these documents, it says level 3.
Okay, so
that Richard Allen is going to probably be in level 3 also, if not level 4.
Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me that he would be in level 4, because that's where he was at in Westville.
Right. Now, what are the mental health facilities like?
So Wabash Valley, I couldn't tell you anything about. I know that Westville has the biggest facility like that for that, and that's where they put a lot of people in Westville, because it's a huge prison, and they have a lot of medical and so forth facilities. I couldn't tell you about Wabash, and that I don't know anything about it other than my dad was there, and he's been moved since. I haven't checked on him in a while, but he got moved. But he was there for probably 20 years almost. Wow. And I mean, it's a bad place. It can be a really bad place. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll have to see what happens.
You know, I really wonder what's going to happen now, because now you've got these people in the jail together or in the prison together. Granted, they may not ever come in contact, but that's hard to believe if they're going to be in there for a while. Right. That they never come in contact with each other. They will at some point, all of them. Even if he's got guards with him, they'll come in contact. The question is, will they recognize each other? And what would their reaction be if they saw each other in What do you think? Do you think that if we walked by each other and I'm Richard Allen and there's Kegan Kline and we walk right by each other and we got an opportunity to say something, do you think they'll say something to each other?
Well, you would think Kegan would say, "What the fuck, dude? I'm getting blamed for this. Confess."
What do you think Richard Allen would say? Odinus did it, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many things they could say to each other.
I know there's a lot of things they can say, and there's a lot of things that they could do that could really change this case completely now.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like they have the case in the palm of their hand. If they just did it, they'd be okay. If they worked together, they could probably get themselves out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hope they don't, but
I know.
Guards and inmates hate child killers, says
Yeah.
gun warden. Yeah. Oh, your sister was a nurse there?
Yeah. That's what Melissa's saying.
Holy hell. An admin in front of it was a neighbor that was a CO there. Okay. Rescue all dogs. This is hard to use this on the phone.
I bet.
Have you ever done it?
No, I don't do much on the phone.
Oh, it's hard. I don't either. It's so hard.
So I know you can't stay all night.
No, I
you have a limited time. So I am gonna, once you go, I'm gonna be on True Crime with Marv and keeping it going for True Crime Investigates, because
and it depends how
we're dual streaming, baby.
I don't even know where it's all at. Where's it all
I don't
at?
know either.
So I tried to set this up on my phone, everybody. I can't see it very well, and it's weird on the phone. So I tried to set this up for us and clicked all sorts of shit, and I don't know what's going on with it.
Well, I'm assuming you have me on Twitter, Facebook, because I know I got a Facebook comment, so I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
YouTube.
Probably all of it. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat.
Who knows where all we are?
Wherever the hell we're streaming from.
Yeah. But
okay.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you, get your thoughts on this while you're available, and then I'm going to talk to them about, I said this was the first step in my eyes and what the next steps should be in my eyes.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's another thought. So in my Kegan Kline sentencing video that I made on the day of his sentencing, I went back and replayed all the Kegan Kline videos that I had done from the day it happened, that we learned about him, so forth. And it's just so ironic that in that video, at the very end of it, I'm like, Kegan Kline is expected back in court on December 18th. Ironically, that's the same day that James Brian Chadwell goes to court.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then you got, what's his name? Brandon Woodhouse, supposed to go to court on January 8th for jury trial, which is the same day that Richard Allen was supposed to go to jury trial.
I know.
It's all intertwined.
And then you got Westman's now delayed.
Oh yeah, Westerman.
So Westerman. So I'm like, oh my goodness, they're all gonna go to court within like a week of each other.
We're gonna have some traveling to do, everybody.
Oh,
go on there.
January 1st coming up, and I get some more vacation.
You know what? Good. My birthday's the 5th.
Ah.
This is all crazy, says D. You know what?
It is.
It's very crazy. It makes you nuts when you think about it. When you think about all the coincidences, all the weird stuff that's happening. I mean, what's going to happen next? Daniel Nations is going to go to court or something, or Paul Eder. You know what? And here's the ironic part. So I started looking up all the persons of interest in Delphi, and I looked up Charles Eldridge, and there's a Charles Eldridge in there too, but it's not the same dude from Randolph County. I was like, are you kidding me? When I saw that name, I screenshotted it and was going to send it to you. Yeah. And then I looked at it and I'm like, okay, wait, that's not Randolph County. So I went back and looked, and there's 2 Charles Eldridges in there, and he's in another prison. So I just thought it would be crazy if they were all in the same.
And Digital's got a good question. Why did Rokita do it and not Gull?
Well, she can't. The judge cannot tell the Indiana Department of Corrections what to do with someone. That's why the judge left it up to them.
The Attorney General can?
Attorney General works, he's the top attorney in the state. Okay, so he's head of all prosecutors, all public defenders, all judges. He's the top. And so he is like the one that can make executive decisions. Now, he probably worked alongside the commissioner for the
Yep.
Department of Corrections, which ironically is Robert Carter. It's Doug Carter's brother. Look him up,
Oh,
Bob
wow.
Carter. Look him up, Bob Carter. You'll see Doug Carter. When you look at that dude, you're going to be like, okay, that's Doug Carter's brother. You can tell. They are spit and image. I mean, they look exactly alike almost. You can tell. Yeah. So it's just weird how all that's connected. You know what I mean? Even the cops are connected in these weird cases.
Yeah.
So I doubt they let anyone make a visit. See, even Charles Manson was locked up in a county courthouse jail cell until his trial was over. Yeah, but you know what? That was in the 60s and 70s, wasn't it? That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago, though. You know what I mean?
But, okay, so this goes to show, this tells us something big. They do not think that a local jail can take care of him and protect him and keep him safe. Otherwise,
Correct.
they would have transferred him there.
Yeah.
He went to another prison. That tells you something.
It tells you something big time. This is what it tells me. They're not in fear for, I mean, they are somewhat in fear for him from other inmates. They're more in fear for Richard Allen from the public.
Right.
From someone who's pissed that's going to walk up there and shoot him or attack or something or plan some massive thing, because they've had that in Delphi. Everybody, they've had that. They've had people ride into town on horses, literally horses, and hold the police hostage and take the prisoner and kill him. So they're worried about that. And they don't, like Delphi, you know how you walk into the courthouse now, there's all these security and cops. Let me tell you what, if Richard Allen wasn't there, you could walk right in there with a grenade strapped all over you and no one would know, because they don't have any metal detectors. They don't have any police in there. This is all new for them. And so they are like taking every precaution to make sure that this dude gets justice, served on him, and they don't screw up any more than they already have.
Right. Well, like you said, this to me is the first step of fixing all of this chaos.
True.
Moving him.
Well, how's it going to fix the chaos until the attorneys come? What's going to happen with them?
Well, the first thing that they were complaining about is that facility.
Okay, but they're gone. Yeah, let's say they're gone now. Let's say
doesn't matter. They brought up the whole Odinist thing and everything. They had to move them, in my opinion. They had to.
I agree. The Odinist thing and the threats. Because what if he was getting threatened by the Odinist or whatever? Then they didn't do anything about it. I could see, or he died or something. You know what I mean? I could see that.
Yep.
Now, here's the one thing I wonder: why? It's 4 hours. Okay, from there to there, from Terre Haute to Fort Wayne. So why, what happens if the new attorneys are like, man, fuck that, or screw that? That's too far. We want him back up here. Do you think they'll go through that? Or you think they're just going to be like, you know what, dude? He's good. We'll go see him.
Or is the next move that it's going to be, everything's going to be moved down there?
Yeah.
As much as they want to keep it in Delphi, is the reason they put him down there, because everything's going to get moved down there.
Yeah. Yes, they did want him transferred. Yep. And that's why he got it, I guess.
Well, so they made such a fiasco of all of this, so they had to transfer him.
And I know why. Part of it now. I'm thinking about it. There was a tort claim filed, okay, on behalf of him by those attorneys. Now, a tort claim is suing the state. I filed a tort claim. I've got a copy of it somewhere. When you file a tort claim against a place, it goes to the Attorney General, Todd Rokita.
There you go.
He is the one that makes that decision on, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and settle with these people. Let's give them some cash. Let's do this. I bet this was his way of settlement with that. Like, you know what? Move him. Move him. They filed a complaint. Let's not deal with that complaint. Let's just move him and forget the complaint. I could see that. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So what do you think happens next? Or do you think that
I think next comes the Supreme Court decision.
That's what I thought before this.
Nope. Now that they've moved them, now comes Supreme Court decision, and that's going to tell us whether Gull stays on and whether the attorneys are out of there or they get back on the case.
Right.
See, like
Well,
I told you, my feelings are they should get rid of McClellan. They should get rid of Rossi and
all
Baldwin,
of
the
them.
new
Start over.
attorneys, and the judge and start all over.
Gosh, that'd be crazy if they did that. Let's just wipe the slate clean.
So
Let's just
they
go arrest a
moved
new
them,
suspect.
right? They moved them. Are they gonna hammer on Gall and say you messed up and remove her and say because this is such a fiasco, we can't get a fair trial anymore. So sorry, Rossi and Baldwin, but you're out too. And hey, new team, we don't like you, and we're gonna appoint new attorneys, and that's the way it's gonna go.
Yep.
You
I mean,
know.
you know what? I can see things changing now. I see things going better, going to the up and up on this case, as long as things stay calm. You know what I mean? And there's no
Yes.
more crazy stuff. I think it's all going to be better. But I got to roll out. I've got somewhere
All
to be.
right.
I'll hopefully I can. I don't know if I can make it back by the time you end it, but if you're on for a while, I'll be back. Okay.
Well, I'm going to chat with the audience. There's a bunch of people in here between the two streams.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go back and look at comments and just talk to them about how crazy was that today.
Okay. All right, everybody. So if you're watching from my channel, we're on Marv's channel. Stay here. She's going to inform you on what's going on. Breaking big news in the Delphi case today. Richard Allen has been moved to the Wabash Correctional Facility, and he's in there with two other Delphi persons of interest, Kegan Kline, James Brian Chadwell. So, Marv, take it over. I'll see you guys later, okay?
All right. See you later.
Yep. Keep it Southern style, y'all.
You betcha. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Like Anthony said, big buster today, bombshell. Sitting here working, and all of a sudden you get a message and it says, Richard Allen's been moved. I'm like, what? Moved? I had to look at the article, and of course, all of a sudden he's been moved to Wabash Valley Level 3 facility. And then Anthony's messaging me, and he's like, hey, guess who else is there? And I'm like, who? And he's like, Kegan Kline. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm going to share my screen here. And Anthony sends me this. I'm going to blow it up a little bit more. So it gives the doc number, Kegan Kline, his birthday, facility location, Wabash Valley Level 3 facility. This is what I noticed right away. Earliest possible release date, 8/19 of 2048. How crazy is that? Then he sends me this one. James Chadwell, Wabash Valley Level 3 facility. Earliest possible release date, 12/2/2103. And I'm like, wow, I cannot believe it. How did all three of them get put in the same jail? That's crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. Then my thoughts started running. Okay, how are they going to keep these three players apart and not have them have communication? That's why I said, are they going to put one in one corner, one in another corner, and one way in the back corner? How's that going to happen? So, Steve says, sounds like Delphi legal system, OCD, yeah. That's what I was wondering too, Tina. Is this a ploy by law enforcement to get them to talk to each other? What would happen? What would they find out if they gave Kegan Kline and Richard Allen a chance to talk to each other? Yeah, maybe that's the whole idea, put them together. Yeah, I agree. He's going to be in segregation. We know that. But there's got to, I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know if he's going to still be on a 23-hour hold, 1 hour out. I have an article here that I can share with you guys. It just says Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen has been ordered to be moved from Westville Correctional Facility to another prison in the state. According to the court documents, Allen's next stop is Wabash Valley Correctional Facility in Carlisle, Indiana. That's in Sullivan County. The order to move Allen was signed by Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita and is dated December 6, 2023. The Indiana Department of Correction anticipates continuity of services and care provided to Mr. Allen at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. Then it goes on to say he's charged with 2 counts of murder in the February 2017 deaths of Abby and Libby. So, I mean, to me, something had to happen. They couldn't keep him there, with all of the allegations and everything else that had been made by Baldwin and Rossi. So they need to add more evils and get them all chatting with each other and passing notes. So according to this, the Attorney General, Todd Rokita, ordered it. And I think they had to move him because of the allegations that Baldwin and Rossi made. And this has been such a fiasco the past month, ever since that 136-page Frank's motion came out. I mean, things have been dropping like crazy with this case. So, and then, I think next we're going to get a decision whether the Supreme Court's going to hear all of these motions from the defense, from the judge, make a decision, and then I've told everybody this. I've talked to Anthony with this extremely. They need to get rid of all of them. McClelland, Baldwin and Rossi, the new attorneys, the judge, get rid of them all. Start over. Appoint a new judge, appoint a new prosecutor, appoint new defense team. Yeah, there has to be a reason why they moved both of them there with KK. Makes me wonder exactly. I mean, this is the biggest case in that area. And you're going to put 3 of the biggest players in the same jail? That's crazy. I mean, Chadwell doesn't have anything that we know to do with Delphi. But still, he was a suspect for a little bit. And even though you have all the coincidences of Kegan Kline, right now, as far as I know, he was transferred today. It did turn into a clown show really quick. And it was going in a very bad direction. So I think in order to fix this whole situation, they have to start fresh with a fresh team. They really do. Clean slate, like Dieberlin says. You know, they have to ensure that he's going to get a fair trial. That is the number one thing right now that they have to focus on. Because if he can't get a fair trial, there's going to be appeals like crazy. Maybe Luttrell is taking over. Who knows? And he is Evil Chadwell. Yep. The federal prison is in Terre Haute, correct? Funny how we haven't seen or heard from Gull since that court day. Alan, yeah, he does. But you got to remember, you know, he liked his defense team. He liked the direction they were going. And as far as Gull, from what I heard, she's still been ill and has been working from home and just recently started going back into the office. So we'll have to see how that affects all of this too. So I just want to jump through and looking at the chat. Just want to say hi to everybody that's come in from both channels. So glad that you're here with us tonight. What is your reaction? What, do you think this was a planned move to put Kegan Kline and Richard Allen in the same prison? Just wondering what everybody in the chat is thinking. So, hello there. How are you guys? I'm so afraid it's going to be another Tabby case where he's let go and can't be charged again. Well, the only way that's going to happen is if Richard Allen goes through a trial and is acquitted of all the charges. That's the only way that's going to happen. Just crazy. I hope they get this back on track. Yes, these precious girls deserve justice and not a clown show. Exactly. They don't move inmates around like that on flimsy evidence. An FBI agent said that. There's evidence we don't know yet. I completely agree with you, Stephanie. And that's why I am chomping at the bit for this trial to get started, because I want to hear everything that the prosecution has. Absolutely could be a plea deal for KK or someone else. Maybe. I don't think Gull can do anything on the case since the field well, that's what we're waiting for. Right now we are in limbo. She really can't do anything until the Supreme Court makes the ruling. If Kegan knew anything, he would have cut a deal. I agree. Indianapolis is closer by 3 hours with very capable county lockup. I agree, but for some reason, they want him in a prison system. Why is that? They'll keep him in the SHU, especially because he's a new transfer and was in the... Yes, I agree. I think it's planned in more ways than one. Safety being with his kind from the areas, yeah, and to possibly get more answers over time. Could be. But like I said, this is a start in the right direction, right? Judge Gull did not do anything with that Frank's motion and the previous request to move him. And that Frank's motion clearly brought up some big issues with the onus theories. Now, did it really happen? Did they really threaten him? We don't know. But at this point, in all this chaos, the best thing to do was to get him out of there and move him. That's what they've done today. And it just so happens that Kegan Kline and Brian Chadwell are in the same prison. So, yes, I have seen the picture of RA where he has the sketch behind him hanging on the wall. Chadwell was convicted of kidnapping and assaulting a young girl in his home. Didn't Slick Nick admit that some lied in one of the documents? No, he did not. He's stating they did not lie. And that was part of the problem when we got the documents from in the judge's chamber. She chastised the defense team, stating that they lied about some of that information. Could be strategy. It could be, absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Granda has Alan walking due to reasonable doubt. Right now, I'd have to agree with them. I would have to agree with them. Until we see what the prosecutor has for evidence, thank you. You know, as of right now, I would say there's a lot of reasonable doubt. But you can't go by what we're seeing now because you haven't seen what the prosecutor has. And they want it that way. They've done it since day one. They've held on to all this information. You know, with a few leaks here and there. They've held on to all of this. And they said, we will try this in the court and not the public. Yes, they do have. They did state that Richard Allen confessed to his wife and to his mother on the phone. We haven't gotten any direct information on that as to how it was worded, what exactly he said. You know, we'll have to wait and see. But they're also stating that he's also confessed to other individuals in the prison that work there too. So who knows how many times he's confessed. I don't think they're going to move him there just because KK asked. That's for sure. Let's see here. Did I miss any comments? Yep, I got that one. Okay. So we are caught up. So I think with this move today, I don't think it's going to be too much longer before the Supreme Court. At least I'm hoping it's not going to be too much longer before the Supreme Court makes their decision. But it's kind of coincidental that all of this happened on the 2-year mark of when the police came out at 10 o'clock at night and announced that they were looking for individuals who talked to the Anthony Shots account. I just have a DOC number. I don't know if that is his inmate number. Let's see here. And we have been guaranteed that they have the facilities and the resources to take care of all of Richard Allen's needs. The DOC number, let me get it. Are you talking for Richard Allen or for Kegan Kline? I don't know that I don't have the one for Richard Allen at the moment. Let's get them talking to be able to charge the sickos with more crimes. Oh, you and me both. I would love to be a fly on the wall if that happens. I tear my eyes out before I talk to Ari. Well, you know, they can put them in different parts of the prison so that they don't have a lot of contact. But you would think there's going to be circumstances where they're going to cross paths, within eye vision at least. Richard Allen won't have a state number. Dinner. My boys just got home and put French fries in front of me, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So, what's going to happen? How long do you think we're going to have to wait? Things are happening on a pretty good progression in this case. You know, he's moved today. Tomorrow, I mean, it could come any day. I'm thinking the Supreme Court's not going to hand down their decision until after the holidays, though. I think after the first of the year is when we'll get more information from the Supreme Court. I really do. And yes, patience is difficult, but we've waited this long. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer. And once that decision from the Supreme Court gets handed down and everything gets straightened out, then we can proceed with this case. Right now, I don't know because that has not been, there hasn't been any hearing on it. All right, my email address is scanning at the bottom there, truecrimewithmarv@gmail.com. Well, and right now, because he's got new attorneys, this is the thing too. If the Supreme Court brings back Baldwin and or Rozzi, then we can have a trial within 70 days. But if they don't bring those two attorneys, or at least one of them, back, there is no way a new attorney can go through all the discovery and be able to effectively defend him and have a trial within 70 days. There's no way. Oh, Melissa, I am so behind on emails. I'm going to be looking at those tomorrow. So I'll look for that one first. So that's why I'm saying, you guys, that everything is dependent on what happens with the Supreme Court decision. The only way we're going to know what is going to happen and how we are going to move forward is by this decision. Does Gull stay? Does she go? Does Baldwin or Rozzi get back on? Or are they gone completely? Forever? Are the new attorneys going to stay? If so, then they have to go through all of the evidence and do all of their own, statements and depositions and things like that. And that's going to take time. And there's no way they can have that done in 70 days and give him a good defense. There's things that have been filed by them. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 people out of Tipton, Indiana, that have been let out because they did not get a timely trial. I think we've seen the last of Rozzi and Baldwin, and we're stuck with Gull, in my opinion. And that could very well be. It's not what I want. I want a fresh start. Get them all out of there and start over. There are some people that don't know about this case. It's crazy. How could that be? In that area, with all the publicity and the news and everything else, it's just crazy. And like I said, look at one of the biggest cases of all, Lori Daybell Vallow, and one of the key jurors on that trial said that he knew of her. He had heard that her kids were missing and found dead, but didn't know any of the details that were in the media because he didn't watch the media. He wasn't on YouTube, or online and stuff like that. So you're going to get 1 or 2 of those. But you're going to get a lot of people that have heard about this. Let's see here. Your family knows very little. Yep. Well, guys, that's where we're at. That is where we're at. I just think it's coincidental and extremely odd that they would put Richard Allen in the same prison as Kegan Kline and Brian Chadwell. Are they plotting? Are they hoping they're going to talk? I don't know. That's my big question. What are you doing? What are you up to? And what, you guys were saying earlier, Anthony was telling me, and you were in the chat saying That's quite a drive. So if his attorneys, who Judge Gull hired to represent him, stay, how is that going to work with them trying to get together with their client to talk about the case? That's a very long drive for them. So how is that going to affect things? We'll have to wait and see. So many questions right now. And we just have to be patient and be in this holding pattern until decisions are made. That's the worst part. But if you think about it, this case has been like this since the beginning. Got a bunch of information and then nothing. Then you get some information and then nothing. You know, it's been like this throughout the years. So I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a good question. Pretty agonizing for the families. Yes. And in you know, while we talk about all these details and everything, we have to remember, we always have to bring it back to those families. The document states that he was moved for safety reasons, so either Rokita is disagreeing with Gull's initial finding and doesn't believe Warden, or a threat or incident has happened to RA. True. And he could just be going off the fact that Baldwin and Rossi were stating that he was threatened and told to confess. So Mel says, if Gull presides, he'll win on appeal and get a new trial anyway, so I don't see what the point is in delaying the inevitable. Well, they can still fix it. They can do what I've said since this has all been happening. They moved him now to a new facility, which is great, because I didn't even think of that one. That wasn't on my list. But on my list was to remove Gull, remove Baldwin and Rossi, remove his new defense attorneys, remove McClelland, bring in a new special judge, let the other prosecutor that was just brought in take McClelland's place, and appoint 2 new attorneys for Richard Allen. Basically, start over. Start over. That's the only way we're going to be able to rectify any of this and have any chance of a fair trial and not have a ton of appeals. But I just want to say thank you all for joining Anthony and I. Sorry he had to go. And thank you for watching both channels as we're dual streaming tonight. We'll have to wait to see what drops next, you guys. It continually happens in this case recently. And like I said, I'm assuming the next thing that's going to happen is the Supreme Court is going to make a ruling. Yeah, digital, I have to take a look at those and see what they filed. And then I'm sure Anthony and I will both let both audiences know what has been filed here. We're trying to keep up the best we can as things drop. So, all right, everybody, you have a great night. Remember, it doesn't matter which stream you're watching from. Click that like button and share the stream to your groups and friends. And I will be back soon, and so will Anthony. You guys have a good night. We'll see you soon. Bye.